encouraging. Next to read from Matthew's Gospel, and it may not be obvious immediately why I've chosen this passage for my reflection this morning. Meanwhile, the 11 disciples set out for Galilee to the mountain where Jesus had arranged to meet them. When they saw him, they fell down before him, though some hesitated. Jesus came up and spoke to them. He said, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go therefore, make disciples of all nations, baptize them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teach them to observe all the commands I gave you. And look, I am with you always, yes, to the end of time." Mark asked me to reflect on, speak about ways of assisting you as catechetics coordinators and finding ways to make your task both easier and more effective. I reflected long on his request, prayed about it, and came to the conclusion that we were starting in the wrong place. So I have turned the topic on its head. The foundation of Christian initiation and the Christian life in total is baptism and confirmation. Baptism that is about relationship with God in Christ Jesus through the Holy Spirit. In God, relationship with all who are baptized and confirmed. Confirmation is all about the mission of Christ and the church. This means that every baptized and confirmed person is responsible for relationship community in God and for mission. And that's our first challenge. What does Jesus say to the disciples when entrusting his mission to them? Go make disciples of all nations. Only then baptize them, and having baptized them, empower them, enable them to keep the great commandments of love. So it is responsibility for those disciples to evangelize all nations into relationship with God, and therefore into relationship with one another. We have failed to do this, and we need to address it urgently. We're still sacramentalizing our children and young people and not evangelizing them. Because only when we're evangelized will we take the responsibility that it belongs to all of us, baptized and confirmed, for relationship, community, and mission. To become a disciple is to become like the Master. So to become like Jesus and to do what Jesus does. unbundle that a little bit. What did Jesus do in his public ministry? He proclaimed the good news. He forgave sins. He healed the sick. He cast out demons. And he raised the dead. So if we are disciples of Jesus, then we do what the Master does. That's exactly what confirmation is all about. That's what confirmation is all about. Not confirming a baptism, which is a mistaken idea that we keep perpetuating. We suddenly recognize how far away we all are from that ideal and how much work needs to go into realizing that ideal. This manifests itself in the second challenge. Who is responsible for the evangelization and faith formation of our children and our young people? We are, as the church, the baptized and confirmed. We are responsible for their faith formation and evangelization. Many years ago in Liverpool, one Sunday morning after Mass, which is not my best time for people to come and challenge me, a man comes to me and says, "Father, I'm very concerned about catechetics. I don't believe the standard is nearly high enough. What are you going to do about it?" I said, "Well, what are you going to do about it?" "What do you mean? It's not my responsibility." "Your responsibility. You're the priest." You simply don't see it. It's our responsibility. And then in particular, it is the responsibility of the parents. In particular, the whole community, and then in particular. It's been said over and over and over again. Parents are the first catechists of their children, the first faith formators. Unfortunately, they so often abdicate that. Perhaps not with ill intention, but simply do not have the tools with which to be able to do that. Now you know that you have an outstanding child, young person, who really knows their faith. It's the parents. And when you have a child or a young person really struggling to grasp what they're teaching, it's a problem of parents who don't do anything to back up or provide. So that is, I think, the second challenge that we have. We have to start engaging parents and evangelizing them. They need to become part of the process. Pinelands Parish, like in so many parishes, you have that awkward group, faith levels 5 to 8. If you're fortunate enough to have the life team, you can begin to work in those areas. What we did was we took a Friday night, and so it's partly youth group, partly faith formation, socializing, and also outreach to others. And there's a team that works. And in this last year, beginning year when I met with the parents, we challenged the parents to become involved. And so parents were actually assigned one of the Friday nights to do the input. And it worked extremely well. But it's that engaging, bringing together, and then evangelizing. They were forced to go and Google and find information for the topic that they had received. But they did it. Now, if they hadn't been pushed into that, they'd never have bothered. So they were themselves growing and were part of the faith formation and the whole experience of church of their young people. I would like to put forward the idea of intergenerational faith formation. Adults, children, young people doing formation in faith together, so that everybody is being evangelized, growing into relationship, growing into community and fulfilling mission. Equally, I am a great believer in community, the importance of community. The responsibility of the community for faith formation and evangelization, but also the importance of forming and developing community. And so in terms of faith formation, one of the things that we have to work on is building community. So if I'm faith level 3, then that level must not just be about first reconciliation. It must be building community. And if we've got very big classes, then we've got to start breaking down into community of communities again. But it seems to me really significant. If we look at that communion, community, it's the priest, the coordinator, the catechists, the children and young people, the parents. You can see the relationships that begin to form and how significant they are. And that takes us straight back to baptism. I think equally important is the bringing together of the different ministries in a parish and working together, building community among one another. If you as a coordinator have responsibility for a youth mass, then you need musicians, you need sacristans, you need environment ministry, you need proclaimers, you need extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion, it's altar servers, it's all there, working together, this dynamic. What the Archbishop was speaking about last week was very much that whole thing of how we come together and how we work together. No one ministry is more important than another ministry. They're all important, but none is more important. They're all needed, and they represent a whole coming together of different gifts, different talents, and again, a way in which we can be building community. A further challenge is the formation of team ministry in catechetics. Team ministry. We've tended so often to be one faith level, one catechist. And we need to start developing that, and there's ways we do that. So the team is coordinator and catechists. Very important dynamic that needs to take place there. You need to be inspiration of those catechists. You need to ensure that they're going on a retreat at least once a year, having time, bringing in new material and input for them, where there's courses, ensuring that they become part of that, to work together. Then as a team in terms of each faith level, catechists, helpers, and parents. Again, story from Durban. First Eucharist. We got to the end of the year, just before the end of the year, and there was a wonderful team doing First Eucharist. Husband and wife, Wendy and Paul, they were transferred to Johannesburg. That was the first blow. Then Anita, who was working with them, said that she had been drawn in prayer to join the Life Team, and that she wouldn't be continuing. So I made appeals, nobody, nothing. Spoke to different people, no, couldn't do that, no time, no, can't do. It's eventually, in desperation, beginning of the year, now, schools have begun, we're supposed to be registering. So I said, in theology, one of the great principles is if you initiate a child, with baptism, then you've got to take them to first reconciliation, first Eucharist, and confirmation. You have to guarantee Eucharist if you're going to baptize. If you can't guarantee Eucharist, you don't baptize. So I said, I have made numerous appeals for people to come forward to assist with first Eucharist, faith level 4, without any success. So as of now, there will no longer be any baptisms in By the end of that Sunday, I had 10 people. And it was the beginning of an incredible team ministry again. And what we did to try and promote that idea then of having a catechist or two catechists and helpers, and then more recently we've been pushing this idea of parents becoming involved in the whole process. A team creates the opportunity of bringing together different gifts and different talents. Not every catechist has all the gifts and all the talents, just as no single priest has all the gifts, all the talents. And I've been saying for years, even priests need to work in team ministry. One priest may be really gifted at youth work, another may have an incredible way of healing and working in hospitals and that sort of thing. Bring them together so you get the best of both. So it creates the opportunity of bringing together different gifts and talents. I think what we need to do in terms of team ministry is to draw young people in as helpers. And then let them slowly begin to be formed in the whole process. And we need to be using more and more young people. Young people want to be part of church. And one of the reasons they leave is they don't feel that they can be heard, they don't feel that they can be understood, they don't feel that they are wanted or needed. So why bother? It's a wonderful way of them drawing in young people and allowing them to grow. A wonderful opportunity would be after confirmation, because that's the time when there seems to be so little. And so I think I'd like to encourage you to do that, to be drawing young people into the process. And I think it's very often an inspiration to young people to have other young people ministering to them. I mean, I don't know how many of you have the privilege of net ministry, working in your parish, and they're just those young people were absolutely amazing, unbelievable. And they're coming back now this year for the whole year, and they need to use them. But we need to inspire our young people net is a way to do that, and so we need to support it, we need to encourage it in our parishes. And then letting young people be inspired by that, drawing them into the whole process. And then finally, what for me is very important is collaboration between all of you. There's a sense of connectedness and belonging, and that you're there for each other. Again, not every single coordinator has all the gifts that are needed to do the job. So work with each other, draw from each other. That may be very difficult when you're a big group like this and spread all over the show, but work together with other coordinators in your deanery or that the geographical area, and again make the most of inspiring, encouraging, helping, and just being there for each other. Can be quite a lonely job. People have high expectations of you, and you've just got to deliver all the time. Why a morning like this I think is so important. It creates opportunity for you just to be nourished and fed a little bit and supported in the sense of we're in it together. We can get it right. We get it. Okay.